A warning tonight as a woman dies after being pulled from the sea in Pembrokeshire. Maxine knows the dangers only too well after she lost her son to drowning during a heatwave.
It's impacted our family in ways that I can't really describe. Having that pain constantly is really hard.
Energy costs are set to rise once again. Tonight we speak to Kat, whose life depends on being able to use all the electricity she needs. Rhian Wilkinson announces her squad on the next stop on their World Cup journey.
And in this sizzling weather, I'll be meeting the barbecue king, dishing up a feast on the Barbie.
Hello, good evening. A woman from Pembrokeshire has lost her life in the water during the heatwave. Dyfed-Powys Police today confirmed that the 72-year-old was pulled from the water at West Angle Beach on Sunday. She is one of the latest of the confirmed 9 people across the UK to die in the last few days. Well, Isa Farfor is live for us tonight at a popular reservoir in Banau Brycheiniog. Isa, warnings tonight for all of us to stop and think before getting into the water.
Well, absolutely, John. As you said, we've had an update from Dyfed-Powys Police in the last few hours that one woman from Wales has become one of 9 across the UK who've died in the recent heat waves. The 72-year-old hasn't been named but was pulled from the water at around 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon at West Angle Beach in Pembrokeshire. Well, this death prompted one bereaved mother to urge people to take water safety seriously. Maxine Johnson lost her son here at this reservoir 20 years ago when he drowned after he went for a swim with his friends 20 years ago. Today, she told me, despite 20 years of campaigning, families are still losing loved ones in the water.
It's quite sickening, to be honest. Not had much sleep in the last week, thinking about, obviously, those families. His friends who were with him have been traumatised and have been living with a lot all these years. So that's another added factor to it. It's not just the family.
And Isa, what's the message then to people who want to use the water at the moment?
Well, John, with the temperature rising this half-term, Welsh Water is also urging people not to enter reservoirs despite the warm weather making them look inviting. They say the cold water shock and hidden dangers beneath the surface can quickly turn deadly.
We just urge everybody that they resist the urge to go into the water and to cool off and potentially look for other options. So like you see behind us here, where it's lifeguarded, they're safe to do so. But anywhere else that's unmanned, it's a big no-no, and we ask them to stay out of the water.
Well, John, the message today is really simple. Even if the weather and the warm weather look inviting, stop and think before going for a swim. Enjoy the sunshine, but don't take risks.
OK, Isa Farfor in Banau Brycheiniog, thanks very much indeed. Well, it's not just the water that poses a risk during unseasonably hot weather. Dehydration and heat exhaustion can be life-threatening if they go unnoticed. It means care homes have been under increased pressure over the last few days to keep elderly and vulnerable residents safe, as Lewis Rhys-Jones now reports.
An ice cream always goes down a treat during a heatwave. And the residents of April Court Care Home in Swansea are doing all they can to keep cool, while temperatures have continued to soar both in and outdoors.
I just open the windows as far as I can, open the curtains, and sit down in between the two and get a nice drop through.
At the moment, no complaints at all. Maybe in a few days' time there will be, but not now.
I don't like the hot weather in general. I'd rather the winter months.
Not too much. It's okay, but it is hot.
There has been an increased pressure on staff in recent days to ensure all residents are well hydrated and as comfortable as possible, which isn't always an easy task in a home that houses up to 77 people.
It would be nice to have air conditioning and to make sure that the inside of the building doesn't heat up so much, because it's warm outside, but in here it's absolutely scorching. And when there's so many people in the lounge and in the room, it heats up as well. And we've got big windows, so the sun comes in and it's just really hot.
Care Forum Wales says its members have been on high alert since before the heatwave began, but there are challenges that staff also face.
There are limitations, safety regulations. We have to make sure that all of our windows have restrictors on them, so they can only open 10 centimetres at each time, and that obviously helps then to block airflow coming through, unfortunately. So we then have to rely on fans and cooling apparatus in that way. How the government and everybody look at the future in terms of our rising temperatures, this should, I feel, be some assistance to be able to adapt care homes.
Temperatures may be forecast to fall later in the week, but this heatwave has reminded many in the care sector that facilities will eventually need adapting to keep up with the pressures posed by climate change. Lewis Rhys-Jones, ITV News, Swansea.
In some of the day's other news, a man from Cardiff has been jailed for committing multiple hate crimes and assaults, including against police officers. 20-year-old Rashid Jama pleaded guilty to 9 offences, including a racially aggravated assault on a police officer, wounding and being in possession of an offensive weapon. The judge described the incidents as disgusting and utterly reprehensible. He's been sentenced to 18 months in prison. A man has been arrested on suspicion of attempted murder after an incident in the early hours of this morning. A cordon remained in place today in the Gabalfa area of Cardiff. A 47-year-old woman remains in hospital with serious facial injuries, and police say a 53-year-old man has been arrested in connection with the incident. Next tonight, yet another blow to people's pockets as energy bills are set to rise by more than £200 from July. Ofgem has announced the energy price cap will rise by 13% throughout the summer months due to the impact of the Iran war on global gas prices. It's come at a time when most of us don't need to use as much electricity and gas as in the winter. But for people like Kat Watkins from Swansea, who rely on medical equipment 24 hours a day, this rise is a real worry. Katie Fenton has been to meet her.
So lots of equipment in here that needs electricity.
Lots of equipment.
Point to everything in this room that uses energy.
So my battery charger to charge my wheelchair. My ventilator, Alexas, they're on all the time for turning things on and off. My fan, you know, things have to be on all the time.
You have no choice.
No.
You need these things.
Yeah, exactly.
Kat doesn't let a brittle bone condition limit her world, but much of her independence is powered by electricity. So news of another price hike has left her feeling
disheartened again, because it's extra money that's got to be found to have a basic standard of living. I can't get away from using electricity in my daily life. I try to mitigate it as much as I can. So to have my energy prices rise yet again, it's just going to put an extra strain on my finances when they don't go up.
The energy regulator, Ofgem, is raising the cap on how much people spend to £1,862 per year. For the average household, that's an extra £221 annually, or £18 a month.
Ofgem says around 4 in 10 households are currently on fixed deals, meaning they won't see this increase right away. But for thousands of families on streets up and down Wales, energy bills are only going in one direction.
And energy providers are warning that missed payments affect everyone.
If you don't pay your Wi-Fi bill regularly, then you lose the service. Now, that doesn't happen with electricity. If we don't pay energy bills, the cost of these non-payments spreads across everybody. And did you know that today, in your bill, on an annual basis, you already pay about £60 to cover the cost of those who don't pay? And this cost is increasing by our estimate to about £75 per annum.
The First Minister described today's rise as simply unaffordable and has called for a 4 nations summit to find a way of bringing it back down. The UK government's insisted that tackling the affordability crisis is its #1 priority. But for people like Kat, these aren't just higher numbers on a bill, they're the rising cost of her independence. Katie Fenton, ITV News, Swansea.
Well, joining me now to discuss what today's announcement actually means is consumer expert Martin James. Good to see you. This is an increase to the cap. Just talk us through what that actually means in practice. This is not a cap on energy bills, is it?
No, sadly not. The energy price cap was introduced by the regulator Ofgem a couple of years ago, and it's designed to cap the maximum amount of money that we spend per unit of gas or electricity. Now, of course, as we just heard from that report, the average bill has gone up by £221 a year under the current cap. But that's going to vary depending on the type of energy deals that you have and the amount of energy that you actually use. And we heard heartbreakingly about that story about people with disabilities who are reliant on energy. So millions of people are deeply concerned because their bills are still variable. That means they can go up and down with the price cap.
Now, most people use less energy over the summer months, particularly this week when it's absolutely boiling. But there's talk that the price cap could stay high when it's reviewed in September too.
Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad tidings, but I think realistically, I've been hard-pressed to find any energy experts who expect a drop in prices. So what that means is now is the time to seek out help if you are struggling financially. There is a great deal of help that is available, but you need to know where to go, how to tackle it. Now, according to Ofgem, they have a range of tailored solutions that are available for people if you are struggling financially, or as we saw with Kat's story just now, if you are older, more vulnerable or reliant on energy. For example, you can request to go on the Priority Services Register, which will help reduce your bills. It will also provide a helpline if you are struggling. So I don't want to see anyone suffering in silence or worried about actually using energy or turning the cooker on. There is help available. Even if you're in financial difficulties and you're not claiming any benefits, you may find that the energy supplier can actually help you reduce your bills. But you have to speak up and seek that help. Do a basic budget so you know the money that you've got coming in and coming out, but help is available.
And Martin, are there any tips and tricks to keeping those bills down?
Well, the most important thing is to basically unplug any devices that you're not using. These are known as vampire devices. They're things that live on standby in and around your home. But it's the goods, it's the kitchen goods where you find they have the biggest impact on your energy usage. Now, many energy suppliers will provide you with cheaper rates if you use, say, your washing machine later on in the evening. So have a chat to your energy supplier and see what deals are available. You might actually be able to run those energy sapping devices a lot more effectively. But the important thing to bear in mind is you shouldn't have to turn off your cooker because you're afraid about the cost. You can ask your energy supplier to help you cut your bills.
OK, Martin James, always a pleasure. Thank you very much indeed. Well, there's plenty still to come this Wednesday evening, including that all-important weather forecast.
And weather-wise, we're starting to lose the really hot weather we've seen over the last few days. Instead of the oranges and the reds on the chart, something a little more yellowy. I'll tell you what that means later on in the programme.
And the hot weather sticks around. How about cooking tea outdoors? I'm with the Barbecue King for some sizzling suggestions.
Looking good. But before that, to sport, and Wales head coach Rhian Wilkinson has announced her squad to play Montenegro in the next stage of their World Cup qualifiers. Cymru, who currently sits second in their group, will hope to be boosted by the return of Laura Hughes from injury, alongside Olivia Clark, Kerry Holland and Lois Joel. Katia Fowler has more.
After qualifying for their first ever major tournament last year, playing in the UEFA Women's Euro, this year Wales women now have their sights set on the next World Cup.
For the first time, the FIFA Women's World Cup comes to South America, to Brazil. The world's greatest players will play in the land of passion.
If they win their final 2 matches next month, they will top their group. The qualifier against Czechia at Cardiff City Stadium could prove decisive in shaping the road to Brazil. Having just announced the team for those matches, their head coach is hopeful.
This team is Wales. I mean, they are so proud of what they're doing, and we've got this opportunity to play a team that is pretty much completely even with us. Like, what an opportunity. I love games like this. We just have to show up. It will be a tight game. It will be a close game, and I think I know our fans will be a big difference maker in that.
Rhiann Wilkinson has just signed a 2-year extension. In her inaugural year as head coach, she led the team to their first ever major women's tournament. But the next 2 years are just as important, with more huge games on the horizon.
I don't think this project is finished. That doesn't mean that I'm going to be the one who gets us to the next World Cup or does something amazing next. I just feel like I can help raise the level another notch before the next coach comes in and drives them forward again, because that is what the job is of the next coach, is just continually drive the team forward, and I don't think I'm finished with that project.
Wales spent the past few seasons proving they belong on the European stage. Now it's time for them to prove they should be on the world one too. Katia Fowler, ITV News.
You're watching Wales at 6. A reminder now of our top story. A woman from Pembrokeshire is the latest to lose her life in the water during the heatwave. Dyfed-Powys Police today confirmed that the 72-year-old was pulled from the water at West Angle Beach on Sunday. She is one of a number of open water deaths across the UK in the last few days. There's more on that in the ITV Evening News.
Typical households will pay an average of over £220 more a year for gas and electricity from July as the energy price cap goes up. We asked what help energy firms are giving and if it's worth fixing your energy deal. At least 8 are dead in separate open water incidents since the spell of hot weather began. Also, the BMA announces that resident doctors will walk out for 4 days next month as their pay dispute with the government rolls on. And how an unusual resident settled in this historic home. Join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Well, with spring in full swing, gardens are at their best right now, none more so than Palais Hall near Bala, where they've got a display with a difference. And Rob Shelley is there for us tonight. I think you've landed the plum job of the day, Rob.
I may put an offer in, although they'll reject it if they look at my bank balance. Yeah, welcome to Palais Hall, just outside Bala. Very grand digs, rather lovely hotel. But they're also the ultimate home of recycling, and this is why. Now, about 18 months or so ago, this was one of the trees on the estate, and then the great storm came and it blew them down. So now they've been recycled, repurposed. They are an artwork called Full Circle, and seeing that they've actually got their official opening on Saturday, well, frankly, we decided to gate crash everything because, frankly, none of us would get our cars parked. The car park would run out of space here. As soon as you trundle down the driveway and see the 1930s Bentley guarding Palais Hall, you know this is no ordinary car park. But then, as you can tell from the chimney stacks, this is no ordinary house. And under the very blue skies of late May, there's no ordinary art gallery outside either. First there was Stonehenge, then there was Seahenge, now there's Balahenge. Here we are, Full Circle. You created your own henge.
Yeah, I'm very lucky.
And this is kind of the ultimate recycling, because once these were trees that lived here.
That's right, yeah, they're from the estate. They fell sort of in 2025.
The great storm of last year.
That's right. So I was invited along and see, if I could bring these trees back to life. There's an ash and a macrocarpa, and they're fantastic to sculpt with.
And you've burnt in the sort of texture onto them as well.
Well, this surface here, the burn-in, it's called yakasugi, and it's a Japanese technique. And it cleans up the surface, first of all, but also it gives a waterproof finish, makes it bug-proof, makes it rot-proof.
Fortunately, though, it doesn't make it rob-proof. The problem with sculpture is you actually always want to touch it, but seeing that there weren't any security guards around to stop us... See, these are meant to be touched, aren't they? These are tactile things. And once, these were trees that lined an estate which has seen an awful lot of lives. Palais Hall was home to shell-shocked soldiers from the First World War and children evacuated from the Blitz in World War II. Not to mention the odd pretty famous person.
Well, we had Queen Victoria stay here. We had Winston Churchill also stay here.
Not at the same time.
No, not at the same time.
And Bala Henge here actually has the far more suitable name of Full Circle, also has a mystical secret. The sun will align with the hole in this sculpture exactly when the summer solstice happens. It's not really that secret because Glenn told me about it. So the sun bursts through here, a la Raiders of the Lost Ark, and hits this. And you did this with an app.
I did it with an app, just like the Neolithic man.
Those Neolithic apps, they were quite good, you know.
Easy to download.
It's the ultimate sneak preview we're getting at the moment, isn't it, really?
It opens on Saturday, 30th of May.
How are the nerves going?
They're going.
It's not often you get to create your own henge.
Exactly. I'm taking every opportunity I can.
It has not been a bad way to spend a spring day, especially with the odd stop for water. But as you can see, early evening light now. And as the light changes, this changes as well. You start to realise Wales has got some amazing houses, some amazing gardens, and in those gardens, some pretty amazing art galleries too.
Absolutely wonderful. Rob, thanks very much indeed for sharing that with us. Now, if you want to keep across all the big stories of the day with expert analysis, why not sign up for our Substack newsletter? Here's how to do it.
Just scan the QR code on your screen now, where you can sign up on Substack. You only have to do it once, and after that, we'll automatically email you our weekly newsletter, where you can get more analysis and insight from our reporters on the biggest stories around Wales. It's completely free to sign up, and you can read it on your phone and tablet too. Just scan the QR code to sign up, or if you're already on Substack, just search ITV Wales.
Told you it was easy. Now, with temperatures soaring, you may be tempted to cook outdoors on a barbecue. But if you want to avoid blackened sausages and burgers, or more importantly, raw chicken, you need a barbecue expert. And I'm pleased to say that Ella Lloyd is with the man dubbed the Barbecue King. Ella's in Penarth for us tonight. Ella.
Hiya, John. I think I've actually got a better job than Rob Shelley tonight. We all love a barbecue, don't we? But I've never seen a setup quite as impressive as all of this. And as you say, I'm here with the Barbecue King, Matty, from Matty's Chop Shop. Matty, if people are out barbecuing tonight, what are your top tips for them?
So I'd say, number one, get yourself some really, really good charcoal or fire, so spend money on your fuel. Spend money on your proteins or your produce. So good local farmers. If you need to go to the supermarket, just go for it. But try and get local if you can. Give yourself the time to do it. Don't just kind of run in, slap bang stuff all in. Give yourself that time to cook something really properly. And the fourth one is be safe, be fire safe, and be food safe.
Tell us a bit about what you're cooking here then today.
So this is a take on kind of a fancy hot dog almost. So it's beer and brats. So what we've done is we've got some really nice fire charcoal onions. We've literally just thrown the onion right into the coals. Let it really kind of turn into ash. Pop it over. Get yourself a fireproof glove. What we're going to do is we're just going to top and tail it.
And it's not all just about meat, is it? It's veggies
It's
as well.
The veggies are the easiest thing to cook because there's so many good sugars inside. Look at that.
Wow.
The caramels inside will just be absolutely fantastic. So yeah, get rid of all the kind of the nasty bit of char. You want to keep some of it for the flavour. Give it a good rough chop. We'll do the same with the with our sausages here. You basically just throw them all in. Grab yourself a really good beer. Chop them all really nice.
So it can be really simple as well. This isn't anything fancy. It's just sausage and
no,
onions.
it's just sausage, onions.
Things that you might have in
Grab
your fridge
yourself
already.
a beer, throw it all in. Get yourself a really good beer. Throw it in and just let it sit.
Let it all infuse.
Let it all infuse. We've got a bit of rosemary salt just at the top. Give this a stir. Nice cover. Let that kind of reduce so all the water's come out of it. Let that go. Drop it down. Wait 5 minutes and then serve. As simple as that. You can serve it in a bun. You can serve it as is. A bit of cheese on top, whatever you want. But yeah, that's all it takes. A really fancy barbecue kind of hot dog. Yeah, beer and brats. Go for it.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. I'm definitely staying for tea, John.
Wow, that looks absolutely amazing. Got me starving now. Ella, thanks very much. Well, let's get the forecast, see if it is barbecue weather. Here's James.
Midday Mayan temples, followed by sunny afternoons on the sand. TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
Hi there, good evening. The very warm, if not hot weather has continued into today. Not quite as hot as yesterday, where we saw the May record broken once again. It was Harden on Bank Holiday Monday. Cardiff yesterday, 32.9 Celsius. We are starting to see a little bit of a change. High pressure starting to move position. It cuts off the hot source of air from the continent. Of course, that's been topped up by all this strong sunshine. Starting to see this little feature pushing up across the country right now, bringing a few thunderstorms. But as that high moves, it's back to more Atlantic-based weather, so cooler, fresher conditions in from the Atlantic, and eventually some welcome wet weather as we head into the weekend. But this evening, yellow warning pretty much everywhere across the country, just the far northeast escaping that. That lasts until midnight. Some heavy thundery downpours in there, some lightning strikes quite likely. And towards the end of the night, things calm down. We do have a little bit of mist and murk in the approaches, just lapping onto the Pembrokeshire coast there. Could turn up anywhere, but it does get melted back, even overnight. So temperatures inland, 12 Celsius, towns and cities a little bit warmer. Still not much of a breeze to help freshen things up, so it may well be a little bit uncomfortable to nod off to sleep tonight. Tomorrow, there, we've still got this murk in the approaches. That gets burned back, but there will be more in the way of mid to high level clouds drifting across the country. But it is mid to high level, so it is going to be nice and bright. With that southwesterly, or at least southerly, we are going to see fresher, cooler conditions around the coast. St David's not getting into the 20s, still holding on to something a little bit warmer out towards the east there. And then temperatures everywhere regulating much closer to average and turning more showery into the weekend.
TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
Making the most of summer. Piri sponsors ITV Pollen Count.
Pollen-wise, we've had high levels today. It's high again tomorrow, but then as we approach the weekend, they level off. It's not just the grass that's coming on strong, it's those pesky weeds too. Take care, I'll see you soon.
And that was Wales at 6. Hamish House-Kerry is back with a late update after news at 10. But from all of us on the programme, till tomorrow, thanks for watching.